So pretty much yesterday I did a Growl video, and someone was asking me after that on Twitter or somewhere like that, how to do a Growl laser sound, and they linked a few songs as an example, and I totally got what they meant. So I'll play for you what he meant by that. So a Growl laser, I just made this right now, and it's kind of something like this. So watch this little macro right here that says no laser. So I'm going to put it to one side. It's going to start a growl, and then it's going to go into like a laser, which is actually a sort of like a phase trick. So check this out. So if you play that in like some sort of like trap or dubstep track, it sounds kind of like this. So pretty much you just hold a note and then, automate or use your keyboard. So it wasn't too hard to make. So again, it was kind of like yesterday's tutorial, very easy. Just a few oscillators, no filters, no inserts, nothing like that. I'm not even using the wow filter here, so I could just go ahead and delete it. So let's see. Let's get into it. So pretty much all three oscillators are very similar. They're all in these kind of weird like FX chord like waves. So for oscillator 1, we're gonna just go ahead and put the first one on color, bend minus plus, which is really good for growly type of sounds or just good sound design blends in general. For me, I love using it for electro, especially in big rooms sometimes. So just have your wavetable position all the way up, intensity all the way down. You're gonna throw an LFO and envelope 1 in there, so just throw them in there, kind of get it to match what mine looks like by pulling these boxes up and down. And I'll show you what's going on inside the LFO and envelope later on. Just make sure right now it looks like that. Make sure your amp is all the way up, and then drop an envelope 2 here into this first box underneath this pitch box, and just set it to 12. Again, you can also just press Option or Alt if you're on PC while clicking in that box and holding, and you can just go up and down octaves really quick. And just make sure you drop one of those into each of these boxes, so modulation oscillator and the other oscillators as well, because we're going to do that to all of those. And that's pretty much it for oscillator 1. So let's go into oscillator 2, which is going to be this one right here, this wave right here, and you're just going to set down bend minus plus. Intensity has to kind of be in a little bit of a specific spot. This second oscillator kind of gives us that kind of high sound a bit, so you just want to make sure it's kind of pointing, I guess, at the S in position over here, and just drop in bring up your wavetable position all the way up, drop in LFO, a performer 7 into here, and just drag it all the way down so it looks like mine. And I can quickly go over what performer 7's doing. All I did was I set my rate to 1/8, so if it's on sync, it'll give you these kind of ratios. And all I did literally was I pressed random, and it just gave me these waves. So if you want to go ahead and copy mine down to detail, you can go ahead, or you could just keep pressing random a few times and see what you get. So I can do that right now even. So I'm just gonna press random a few times. Blah blah blah. I just pressed it once and I was just happy with what it gave me. So yeah, it doesn't matter. I have this preset saved now, so I can go back to it. But yeah, you can just press random a few times and you'll just get some funky shit. Or if you want to go ahead and load the curves and kind of place them as you want, so something like you click on a box and then you can set the curves, and then once you're done with that, you can kind of blend them with this X fade right here, and that's all set. So anyway, so yeah, drop in that performer right here into under wavetable position, and like I said, drop in that second envelope right here and bring that up an octave. And let's go into our third oscillator, which is very similar. It's the same wave as before, bend minus plus. We got that second envelope right here in the pitch box beneath, and our wavetable position's up all the way, and our intensity is again, this has to be in a very specific spot, but it doesn't. It'll just give you a different sound if it's not in the same spot, but it'll be cool either way. Just kind of make sure it kind of looks like it's pointing at maybe, I guess that would be 6, 7, 8, 8 o'clock, I guess. Kind of 8 o'clock, almost 9 o'clock, really. And just dropping that first envelope in here, so envelope 1 into there, and just kind of make it look like mine a bit. Amp up all the way. And so let's go into the modulation oscillator, and then I'll go into all the envelopes and LFOs and whatever else. So the modulation oscillator was a big part of this, because for me to get that laser sound, I was using a bit of phase. So again, make sure you drop in that second envelope right here, bring it up an octave, then go to phase and set the phase for oscillator 3. So right here, select 3, and then bring your phase up to here, or if you want to do it by ear and hear, you know, kind of get the cool sound that you like, just leave it there. And then, so this is where I found a nice little sweet spot for the laser. So if I, that's the sound that's giving me. And then I set a macro right there, and I brought it all the way down, so I can go from growl. And if I turn, so I hope you guys are watching this macro right here. So right here is growl, and then all the way to the left is laser. So that's like the growl laser combination. So pretty much I use the phaser for this. There's other ways to do it, but let me see. Sorry, I was getting a text message, so I got distracted. I've learned my lesson to now mute my phone while I do these, because in the past people would hear my notification text sound, which was ain't nobody's got time for that. That's what everyone would hear and, you know, reply back to me with. So it was just funny. Oh, let me just go to voicing real quick, and then let's do these envelopes and all that. So for voicing, I set this to 8 voices, just, you know, so you can kind of play a lot of notes around the same time. You know, just get really nuts with it. And that's on polyphon. And triggers always. I turned on the pitch cutoff, dropped in a macro 3 into this box, and dragged it all the way up. So if you want to destroy the sound randomly, you just use this macro and turn it really quick. So that's meant to destroy the signal. That's meant to be like an extreme effect. I don't know why I added it in there, but I just felt like doing it. You don't have to do it. And let's go to the oscillation tab. So now we can go into the tabs. There's no filtering or inserts or anything like that. I'll get to the FX at the very, very end. And so I turned on the oscillator phases. So I'm pretty sure you were wondering why your sound doesn't match mine quite yet. That's because I did this. And if I turn this off, you'll hear that big difference. You can hear how it just gives a, I don't know what, it just kind of makes it seem so much stronger. And the reason why it's doing that is because I'm phasing the beginning of each oscillator in a different spot. So when I trigger a note, they all start from a different spot, not the same spot. So if you want to kind of copy down where mine is at, go ahead. But I do encourage you to kind of play around with it and find some sweet spots, because with the oscillator phases tab, you can, or window, I guess you could call it, if you play around with it, you'll just find tons of unique sounds. I get so many variations of presets I make just by fooling around with the oscillator phases, and you know, it always inspires me when I get a really unique sound out of it to, you know, change other settings. And you know, it just, with this little oscillator phases, I always talk about it. It's one of the coolest things in Massive to me, where you could just kind of come in this window, phase the beginning of each oscillator, and just end up with really cool stuff. So anyway, you can see the first one's kind of a little bit past 90. The second and third oscillator are kind of around, or between 270 and 360. So, and they're kind of close together. So, you know, really play around with that. I didn't move the modulation phases. I'm sorry, modulation oscillator. I didn't move that one. I guess it doesn't make too big a difference, so I think that's why I didn't move it around. And let's see. So let's get into the first envelope. So the first envelope is pretty much on the intensities, and I think that's about it for where those are. So the tack is slightly up. It's kind of, you pretty much want to get this point to be at this box right here. Bring level up, shorten the decay to around there. Bring that level down, and that's really it. So take a second to pause the video if you need to. I'm going to move on to envelope 2. So envelope 2 is a really quick attack. So you want to get this point to be pointing right there. So just bring the attack all the way down, level up all the way. Decay kind of point around there, level all the way down. And I dropped in a macro 2 in here. So, and then I stretched it out all the way to here. So if you have a keyboard assigned to these macros like I do, and to do that you go attributes, you select, 5 for 5, and that if you have like that on your keyboard like a little knob, then you can turn that knob. So pretty much with attack, if I turn the laser all the way down and I bring the attack all the way up, I wouldn't call it a riser growl, but I would call it like that long, like I don't know, I guess I want to say Skrillex reminiscent type of growl that kind of goes like raw, blah blah blah, And if you bring that laser in, I don't know if it's obvious, but I used to do a little bit of dubstep. Just a little bit. That was years ago though. And so pretty much that's why I have this macro there, in case you want to do those kind of crazy edits. And that's pretty much it. So envelope 3, I don't believe I used it. No, I didn't use it, I can tell. And envelope 4 is just your main amp envelope. You don't even have to move it. And let's see, LFO 5, I set to 1/1 on ratio by clicking on sync. And I just set it to a saw and a sine wave, and I brought the sine wave to kind of be a little offset. So this is kind of what it normally looks like, and I moved it to look like that. So kind of the point to meet around there. And that's about it for that. So let me see what else. Performer, we talked about that. And let's see, so filters, we didn't do any of that. No noise, nothing like that. Let's go to FX real quick then. So for FX1, I had a dimension expander. So that just, if you don't know, it kind of delays the sides a bit and makes it seem wider. So all it really is like a delay, just to add width. So pretty much I have very low dry wet, and size is kind of low as well. So if you want to make it look like that, or just add how much you want of that to that. Wow, I just said that a lot. And reverb, I kind of wanted to keep it a little minimalistic, but again, like I said yesterday, I'd like to use it sometimes to put it in a room. So dry wet is around, I guess, around here. Size a little bit more than the dry wet. And density and color are kind of facing away from each other because they hate each other. And if you wanted to do this, you could EQ and just cut the low shelf a bit, and that's all I would do. But you don't even need to do that. I'd recommend just going into this with a full EQ. So that's pretty much how you get a growl laser. And I kind of did a lot more than just that, because I kind of showed you how to make a long growl and a growl laser. So hopefully whoever asked me to do this, this is what you were talking about. I think it's pretty close to the clips I heard that he linked to me, and hopefully you guys like this as well. I don't want to do too many growl type videos in a row. It's just it was a request, so I kind of got to it, and I still have to get to so many requests. It's just I kind of choose which ones I do on certain days, and I have like 100 requests to choose from, so I will get to them one by one. So thanks guys for watching.